Hello, my name is Tara, and I work with Vestavia Hills Library in the Forest. In today's Creative Corner video, I will be showing you how to make a decorative wreath with a twist by using an embroidery loom. A wreath is an assortment of flowers, leaves, fruits, twigs, and various materials that are constructed to form a ring and are often associated with holidays like Christmas, harvests, funerals, and memorials. Recently, wreaths have become a staple of home decor and decorate front doors and walls. Traditional decorative wreaths are created by using either a metal wire frame or foam rings and are often completely covered in material not showing any of the support structure underneath. To create a modern version of a wreath, we will be using an embroidery loom as the structure to create our wreath onto. By using less material to cover the loom, this will let us to incorporate the structure into the overall design and allow us to play with the composition of the flowers on the wreaths we create. Besides using an embroidery loom, large metal rings can be also used like this. In this video, I will also show how to make paper flowers by using book paper. For this video, you will need the following supplies: an embroidery loom, book paper, tape, hot glue, and scissors. Optional supplies include fake flowers, pliers, paint, paint brushes, palette or a paper plate, and water. Before we can decorate the looms, we need to prepare our flowers. I will show you how to make paper flowers by using book paper, and to prepare the flowers that we'll be cutting off of the fake flowers. To get started making the paper flowers, you will take one sheet of book paper and fold the top right corner over, creating a triangle. You will then cut off the extra paper that is at the bottom, leaving you with a square of paper. You will then fold this piece of paper 2 more times. Next, you'll take your scissors and cut out a teardrop shape. As you can see here, I've drawn this teardrop shape to help me cut it out. Next, you'll cut off the bottom portion of the flower. After unfolding this cutout, you are now left with an 8-pointed flower with a hole in the center, as you can see here. You'll want to cut out as many of these as you want for how many flowers you wish to create. For one flower, it takes at least 3.5 of these cut out to make one prepared flower. To get started, you'll take 3.5 of these cutouts and cut them as I have shown here in the diagram. You'll take the first flower cutout and cut off 1 petal, leaving you with a cutout that has 7 petals and a cutout that has 1 petal. You'll take the second flower cutout and cut off 2 petals, leaving you with 6 petals and 2 petals. And then for the third flower cutout, you'll cut off 3 petals, leaving you with 3 petals and 5 petals. You will also have a cutout that just has 4 petals. The other half of this flower cutout will be saved for the next flower that you wish to prepare. Next, we need to turn these petal cutouts into cones. You can do that with either tape or hot glue, but I find it best to use tape for this part. To help shape the cones, you can either use the end of a pencil or a brush or even your finger to help you make the cone shape. After all of the petal cutouts have been turned into cones, you can now hot glue them together. It's best to start with the smallest one first and work your way up to the larger size cones. To reduce hot glue gun string, which can happen when working with hot glue guns, it's best to spin the tip of the hot glue gun around. This will help stretch and dry out the hot glue gun string and make it less noticeable. Keep working your way up to the larger sized petals, gluing them together. One tip to make your flower look more realistic is to alternate the positioning of the flower petals as you nest them together. You'll want to repeat this process for however many flowers you wish to create. Next, we'll need to prepare the fake flower cuttings that we'll be using. Some of the fake flowers can just be pulled off, as you can see here as I'm pulling off the yellow flowers and the twig pieces, but some you may have to clip with pliers, like you can see here with the red and blue flowers. Keep clipping off as many flowers and leaves that you think you'll need for your wreaths, if you decide to use fake flowers. After you have your flowers ready and prepared, you can now start to get your loom ready. Before you start painting your loom, if you do wish to do so, check the loom to see if there are any stickers or plastic film covering the metal pieces. For the wreaths that I'm going to create, I'm going to paint them and personalize them so that I can give them to my twin cousins, one of which is into reds and the other is into blues. You don't have to personalize your wreaths, this was just my personal choice. As you're working on your wreaths, there is no right or wrong, it is all up to you. It is all about using your creative freedom to create your own unique and beautiful wreaths. In the next part of this video, I'm going to show my process when creating my wreaths. For the first wreath that I'm creating, I am doing a primary color scheme of red, blue, and yellow. As you can see here, I have started to paint the loom a gold color. After this has dried, I play around with the flowers, figuring out the composition that I want to have. Once I have my composition figured out, I can then start to hot glue the pieces onto the loom. I found it best to glue on the green leaves first and then worked my way up, gluing the flowers on top. Keep working and gluing on flowers until you achieve the composition and overall look that you want. An extra detail that I did to help me personalize these was by adding a strip of burlap and a letter for her name. I realized after doing this I could have put the burlap through the loop, but by this point I wouldn't have been able to open it up to do so, so I had to hot glue it. For the next wreath, the color scheme that I chose for this one was a dark blue and tan, which is a complementary color scheme. First I started to paint this loom a iridescent blue, but after looking at it I realized that was too bright, repainting it to be more of a denim blue color, as you can see here. Next I started to play with the composition. To help me give a more unique look, I made different sizes of flowers. As you are gluing on the flowers, you may need to hold them in place because they may fall over if you don't give it enough time to dry. To personalize it like I did with the last one, I also added a burlap strap, as you can see here, with her initial on it. To make it match the other wreath, I also went back in and hot glued bits of greenery. Another detail that I added was to add in small blue flowers that I'm creating now. These I hot glued to the end of the greenery pieces. After finishing these wreaths, I gave them to my cousins and they loved them, and decorated their rooms with them. I hope this video has given you some ideas you can use when creating your own one-of-a-kind and unique embroidery loom wreaths to add to your home decor. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a great day.